Hackers. They're nothing new in the gaming space. From 10th Prestige lobbies in Modern Warfare 2 back in 2009 to modern day pros exposed mid-tournament, they've been around in many forms for years. But in Conan Exiles, the problem isn't just annoying, it's ruining the game for many. Clans and years of work wiped out, PvP servers abandoned and players driven away. How bad is it really? Pretty bad, and today we're going to talk about it. Hacking is nothing new, even in Conan Exiles. It's been an issue of varying severity for years and has mostly been felt by the PvP community. The types of cheats most commonly seen in Conan are nothing out of the normal. Aimbot, ESP and wall hacks, speed cheats, teleportation and plenty more, the usual repertoire. Just like when cheaters show up in other survival games like Ark and Rust, most of them were seen in the PvP area, as of course there's far more at stake with loot, player fights and people's bases. The effect of cheaters on the PvP community really can't be understated. I'm not a PvP player and probably never will be, so I can't attest firsthand to the experience of those who regularly play the mode. However, just from the outside perspective, cheating seems to have had a pervasive and incredibly negative effect on the PvP community as a whole, disincentivising continual play and eroding trust in the mechanics. Let's get one thing straight, the PvP community might be a minority of the overall Conan player base, but that doesn't mean they don't deserve to play a fair game. Weapon balancing and such aside, in an ideal world, cheating has no place in PvP. Many people have walked away from the mode as a whole because their experience fighting against cheaters has soured them on PvP, understandably so. Nobody wants to fight against someone who has an unfair third-party advantage. There's also the constant worry of cheaters. Even if one isn't present, who's to say they won't appear one day and just teleport around deleting bases? That sort of lingering worry festers, and to a point it deters people from even bothering with PvP. I don't play PvP because, really, I don't like the idea of fighting other players and losing my loot, it's just not my thing anymore, but it is expected of the mode. If that is your sort of thing, the last thing you want is to lose your loot and base to people that were objectively not playing fairly. If you want to see this in practice, Soronastes has a bunch of great Conan PvP videos where he's going against cheaters. I would highly recommend checking out his content if you'd like more context on the scale and severity of the issue. That brings us to a recent incident that brought the controversy around cheaters to the forefront in a new way. Usually, cheating has been mostly relegated to PvP, however in around December 2024, at least one cheater appeared in PvE servers with disastrous effects. The actual series of events are fuzzy, but the repercussions are clear. Affected PvE players had the server crash or restart, and after logging back in, their thralls were all dead, items gone from their inventory and loot from their base too. As bad as it sounds, cheating had become common knowledge in PvP, as it had persisted for a long time and seemingly avoided widespread punishment. It played a big part in the slow drain of PvP players and kind of fell into the background noise of complaints as the PvP community shrank. However, the step over into PvE, where players aren't even able to fight each other for loot, drew warranted anger from the players on those affected servers, and of course PvP players already knew their pain. Of course, I don't need to tell you why this is a problem, it's plain to see. Persistent cheating in Conan has had a corrosive effect on player morale and community spirit for quite a while now. It's easy to view interactions with cheaters as atomised events, where individual encounters are exactly that, individual. That's true, but when it persists for so long it becomes instantiated in the community conscious of the player base. Enough people have experienced it to either have first-hand experience or know someone that does, and those that have managed to avoid it likely have heard the horror stories, to the point where even the idea of running into cheaters has a negative effect on morale. This isn't purely a Conan problem either, it's an issue in many games. Let's take Call of Duty, a game I have begrudgingly played a fair bit of. Back in the old days of Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, etc., cheating was a fairly rare thing, especially on console. If someone had a mod menu, it was almost a special attraction, and it was rare to come across someone who cheated maliciously, though that's just my experience of course. Fast forward to nowadays, with Modern Warfare 3 and the dumpster fire that is Black Ops 6, cheating is everywhere. Warzone, multiplayer, ranked, it's pretty common. It's a huge pain point in their community hubs and content creation space, and pretty much every match has the tension of accusations or actual genuine cheaters. I think it's really important to quantify it's not just a Conan Exiles problem, it is an industry-wide issue across a lot of titles. That being said, Funcom's approach to dealing with cheaters has not been so great. Again, cheating has existed in Conan for a long time, and when one gets banned, another one just pops up. To a degree, that's kind of the nature of fighting against cheaters. It's a technological arms race between the game devs and the cheat devs, and both have money at stake. The game devs want cheaters gone so people can play the game and feel secure in spending money, and the cheat devs want people to purchase their cheats knowing they'll work. Additionally, bans are only a part of it. People can always buy or hijack new accounts, hardware bans can be bypassed, IP bans can be bypassed. It's quite a complex and difficult issue to tackle. Funcom's communication on cheaters is, like most other stuff, not great. Then again, this is the one area that I think I'll give them a bit of slack in. Unlike talking about bugs or plans for the future, you don't necessarily want to talk about what you're doing to tackle cheaters and exploiters. As much as the battle is an arms race of technology, it's also a battle of information. If you've ever reported someone on a game and got a generic "we punished a player you reported," there's a reason why it's not more specific. The information of who got banned and why is really valuable to cheat developers. If they can pinpoint details about how anti-cheat or detection works, they can work around it. When you talk about bugs or bad gameplay balance, they don't get worse when you talk about them, but if you say, "we detected X cheaters because of Y," cheat devs now know what markers they need to hide from the detection system. Communicating about cheaters is a lot more nuanced and careful than I think a lot of us understand. When Funcom or other developers are relatively quiet about how they detect hackers or what they're doing against them, that can be warranted. However, as evidenced by the prevalence of cheaters, whatever Funcom are doing is not enough. There's not really much more to say to it than that. We know very little about their internal processes for dealing with cheaters, and that is by design. The less people know about detection, the better the system should work, though it's evident that it isn't working as good as it should. The final point I wanted to touch on is some community solutions. We don't have the power to ban accounts on official servers, but there are some things you can do to keep yourself safe. Firstly, as a rule, do not interact. Don't fight them, don't try to distract them, do not interact. You are not on a level playing field and you will not win. Secondly, do not give them a reaction. It's easier said than done, and it is the age-old trope of people looking for a reaction, but if they don't get it, most of them will get bored fairly quickly. It's really hard not to react if you're the affected party, but reactions will just fuel them to continue doing it to yourself and others. Lastly, and probably the best tip, try to find some private servers. Officials can be fine, but because they don't have active admins or moderators, you have to resort to these slow reporting processes when a hacker shows up. Private servers often have better and faster infrastructure to deal with these issues, alongside a generally friendlier and tighter knit community, and if you find a good one, they should have active admins at most hours that can deal with problems. You can find private servers on Reddit, the forums, Facebook, Discord servers. There's loads of resources to find them on all platforms. Private servers in general are an incredible boon for Conan Exiles, and you'll most likely end up having a great experience in most of them. A lot of the people that open private servers really just want to have a fun and enjoyable experience and build a community that can share in that, so do consider giving them a try. The hacking epidemic in Conan Exiles has been pervasive over the years and really has gone on for too long. Some of the silence from Funcom on the matter is warranted. It's a war of information as much as it is technology, but clearly not enough is being done to tackle the problem that has persisted for all those years. It's a strange time in the gaming industry where loads of games are struggling to fight against cheaters, so it's not just a Conan problem, but more certainly needs to be done to ensure people can play the game they enjoy safely and in good faith. Thank you for watching, and of course a massive thanks to our wonderful esteemed coffee cultists for continuing to support the channel over on Patreon. If you want to see videos early and support the channel directly, consider joining us over on Patreon, link in the description and pinned comment. Take care, and I'll see you soon.